and welcome back to math class. If you notice, we are on lesson 3, and we are going to be dealing with equivalent ratios today. Now, if you look at the word equivalent, I hear the word equal. So we're going to look at making ratios that are equivalent. Now, remember, ratios are two numbers. So, for example, this would be considered a ratio. And we're going to look at making what we would call an equivalent ratio. All right, so today, the first thing we have to do is we're going to write a one-sentence story problem about a ratio. And I'm going to have you guys go ahead and write down my sentence to make things a little bit easier. So it says the ratio of the number of sunny days to the number of cloudy days in this town is 3 to 1. So if you could write down that sentence, and if you notice, I kind of tried to help you a little bit by underlining sunny is the first word, so it obviously matches with the first number, 3, so we're talking about 3 sunny days. Cloudy was listed second, and so the number 1 goes with cloudy. Okay. Once again, if you need to pause the video so that you can get this written down, do that at your own speed, please. If we rotate down, the next thing says that we're going to write the ratio in 2 different forms. Well, I kind of gave us the first form right here with the colon, so we would write here 3 to 1. The next way we would write a ratio is with the word 3 to 1. These are the 2 ways that I want us to remember. However, I've also gone ahead and introduced to you the third way, which we'll need to know later on, and that is writing it as a fraction, 3 to 1. Okay, so moving on down to exercise 2, let's look at our story. Exercise 2 says, Shani and Mel are using ribbon to decorate a project in their art class. The ratio of the length of Shani's ribbon to the length of Mel's ribbon is 7 to 3. Well, once again, you will notice I highlighted Shani's name because her name is first, so she matches with the 7. And Mel's name is second, so it matches with the 3. All right, so we're going to go ahead and draw a tape diagram to represent this. So we're going to label Shani's name, and we're going to give her 7 tapes. And we're going to label Mel's name, and we're going to give him 3 tapes. Well, you will notice if I put 1s in all of these, like this, I have here that Shani is 7 and Mel is 3. So the first ratio we had was 7 to 3. Now if I would want to make an equivalent ratio, I've gotten rid of the 1s. My tape is still 7 to 3. I didn't change it. But this time, instead of using the number 1, we could put 2s. Remember, the number has to be consistent. It has to stay the same. So now if I look at Shani, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Mel, 2, 4, 6. I now have an equivalent ratio to 7 to 3, and that is 14 to 6. Now if I wanted to actually make another equivalent ratio, I could keep the tape still the same. Remember, the tape is 7 to 3. I could pick a new number. Let's go ahead and just pick 3. And if I put 3 in all the tapes, Shani, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these. 7 3s would be 21. And for Mel, 3 3s would be 9. My new ratio is 21 to 9. I could say that these are equivalent ratios. They are equal to each other. Go ahead and turn over to the back side, please. Okay, so on the back side, we have a new story that says Mason and Lainey ran laps to train for the long distance running team. The ratio of the number of laps Mason ran to the number of laps Lainey ran was 2 to 3. Okay, so we have our ratio 2 to 3. Mason is listed first, so he matches with the 2. Lainey is listed second, so that he matches with the 3. If Mason ran 4 miles, how far did Lainey run? Well, we're going to go ahead and use our original ratio, and we're going to go ahead and label Mason and Laney. Mason, remember, is 2, and Laney is 3. Okay, so I've made my tapes. 2 to 3 is my ratio. 2 to 3. However, I have extra information that now says if Mason ran 4 miles. Well, that means Mason has to be equal to 4, which means I need to take this 4 and divide it into 2 boxes. All right, so I would take my 4 here, you see it, and I'm going to divide it into 2 boxes for an answer of 2. So we know that these boxes are 2, and if these are 2, these are 2. So we found out Mason went 4 miles, and now we know Laney, 2, 4, 6, went 6 miles. So how far did Laney run? 6 miles. But I now have another ratio, 4 to 6. I have an equivalent ratio. Okay, let's move down to B. If Laney ran 930 meters, how far did Mason run? Well, once again, we're going to stick with the original ratio, 2 to 3. Remember, Mason is 2, and Laney is 3. Laney is equal to 930, so I would say that Laney, which is right here, is 930. I have to take the 930 and divide it into 3 boxes. So we'll take 930 and divide it into 3 boxes, and we get 310. Obviously, we put 310 then in the other boxes. Okay, how far did Mason run? Well, we have to take 310 plus 310. A little blurry there, but we get 620. So how far did he run? 620, and our label here is meters. Okay, so this is our answer. But once again, we have another equivalent ratio. We have 620 to 930. These 3 are equivalent ratios. Smaller number, smaller, bigger, so they are all in the correct order. These 3 ratios are going to go right down here when it asks for equivalent ratios. Okay, go ahead and flip over to the next page, please. Okay, exercise 4 says, Josie took a long multiple choice end of year vocabulary test. The ratio of the number of problems Josie got incorrect to the number of problems she got correct is 2 to 9. So we're looking at incorrect to correct. Incorrect is listed first. So it matches with the number 2. Correct, the number of problems she got correct is second. So correct will last with the number 9. Okay, so I have here 2 to 9. 2 to 9 is one of my ratios. I'm going to solve the problem by saying if Josie missed 8 questions, how many did she get correct? Well, if she missed, that means those are the ones that are incorrect. So the incorrect has to equal 8. So I have to take 8 and divide it into those 2 boxes. So 8 divided into 2 boxes, most of us know, is 4. So then we put 4s in all of these. Correct. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Correct. There's 9 fours, and 9 times 4 is 36. So she got 36 problems correct. We have a new ratio. The equivalent ratio from, we started with 2 to 9. Now we have 8 to 36. Okay, next one. If Josie missed 20 questions, how many did she get correct? Well, once again, we're going to keep our original ratio. Incorrect. Incorrect. Incorrect is 2. Correct, remember, was 9. She missed 20 problems. Missed means those are the ones that are incorrect. If I take 20 and I divide it into 2 boxes, which most of you already know the answer, I get 10. So we put 10 in all of our boxes. We see that there's 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. And 10 9 times we know is equal to 90 correct. So here's my final answer. And I have a new ratio, and it is 20 to 90. So once again, I have 3 equivalent ratios. I kept the same tape diagram for every single problem. One time I put the number 4s in here, and then down here I put the number 10. So I was able to find equivalent ratios. So down here when it says what ratios can we say are equivalent, this would go right down there. Okay, so your Google form that you're going to do is very similar. You might need to make the tape diagrams on a marker board or piece of paper so that you can actually solve the problems the same way we did here.